Welcome back to the Advisor Growth Experts YouTube channel, where we teach financial advisors how to grow, buy, and eventually sell for more. My name is Patrick Brewer. I'm the founder of Advisor Growth Experts and the CEO of the Wealth Plan Group, which is an RIA with about $3 billion in assets under management and advisors spread out around the country. Today's topic is near and dear to my heart. It is acquisitions, how to source a profitable acquisition in today's competitive M&A market. It's no secret, the financial services industry is in rapid consolidation mode. There's a lot of financial advisors who are interested in participating in this consolidation, but there's only a select few that are really having success. So I want to walk through in today's video how to source a profitable acquisition so that you can compete with some of these larger aggregators in getting in front of deals before they hit the popular exchanges or before your competitors jump in front of you. But before I do that, I want to talk to you about a few mistakes that you're probably making right now. Number one, you're probably relying on-market exchanges like FP Transitions or SuccessionLink to come across active deal listings. Now, these are great companies, but for the average advisor, if you're just putting out an indication of interest on one of these platforms, the chances of you getting a deal done are very low. A lot of the good deals that come across these platforms are going to be pocket listed and sent to the larger firms with proven processes for acquisition. And the ones that you see are likely going to have a little bit of hair on them from a compliance standpoint, or maybe some other issues with the seller or the firm. Number two, just relying on a deal falling into your lap. A lot of financial advisors will attend the local FPA meetings. They'll put out casual indications of interest to the other advisors who are in those groups. They'll tell the local wholesaler that they're interested in acquiring, but they haven't taken any steps to formalize their acquisition process, and they're not doing any active marketing or business development to meet qualified sellers. Number three, not having a good understanding of the operational, financial, and legal challenges associated with M&A. It's a very complex process that breaks down into multiple steps that require a pretty deep understanding of how a company that exists separately from yours right now would integrate in a variety of different ways as it relates to legal, operations, administrative, all these different functions in the company. And the seller needs to feel intuitively good about that. So if you're just relying on that to just come together through a lunch or a series of dinners and making the person feel good emotionally, you're not really going to get them to the goal line to sign the documents if you don't know what you're doing. So how do you find the right RIA to buy? That's the question that a lot of financial advisors are asking themselves in this competitive M&A market. I've got 6 steps that you can follow that are going to put you head and shoulders above the competition as it relates to sourcing and closing a profitable deal. Step number 1 is you need to build a pitch deck that allows the seller to understand who you are, what you are going to do once you acquire their business, why you're interested in acquiring, how your process works, and what does it take for both parties to get to the finish line. So if you can build a pitch deck that's compelling, it allows you to send that out through email, you can send it out through LinkedIn, you can pass it along to other industry contacts, wholesalers, CPAs, and it will give a snapshot of your story, both personally and professionally from your firm's standpoint. So what I've done for you to make this easier is I've actually included a link below in the description to a pitch deck that I put together for a CPA firm that I'm looking to buy. So Wealth Plan Group right now offers the usual set of services that RIAs offer: investment management, financial planning, comprehensive advice, things of that nature. But we are looking to expand our footprint into the accounting industry because a lot of people seek out tax and accounting before they seek out wealth management. So leverage that pitch deck. Not all of it's going to be appropriate for you, but the general sequence of how it's laid out will help you get started in your acquisition efforts. Step number 2. You're going to need to create a video introduction for you and your firm for potential sellers so they can understand who you are, how you think, what the process is going to look like, and get comfortable booking that initial consultation with you, whether that's a lunch meeting or a phone call or whatever your call to action is. So initially, this video can be very low budget. I recommend a website called Loom. It's just useloom.com. You can create a video on your computer. You don't even need a microphone if you don't want to, and you're just saying, hey, here's who I am. This is what my firm does. This is what we're looking for. It's basically just a synopsis of your pitch deck. And then you can actually take that Loom video and embed it in your emails, in your LinkedIn messages, and the potential sellers can just click it, and then they're just gonna watch it and see your face. It'll be a lot more relational than just sending them a spam message. So if you are wondering how you could use an email in order to embed this Loom video, you're gonna wanna wait till step 3 and 4 where I walk through that process. So once you get comfortable on video and you're able to invest in a little bit higher level of production quality, you can also create a video and host it on a page on your website. So whenever you drive people from emails or LinkedIn messages or your contacts like CPAs and wholesalers, you can say, hey, I have my acquisition page, whatever the URL is, that explains how I partner with potential sellers. And they can go to that page, watch the video, read the copy on the page, and eventually book a call. So if you're curious about what one of those could look like, go ahead and check the description. I've included a link to ours at Wealth Plan Group. It'll show you how I've laid out the video, how I explain our various affiliation offers for advisors, and just kind of the general flow and structure of that video. Step number 3, you're gonna wanna subscribe to an advisor database like Discovery Data or Advisor Pro. These services offer a list of advisors that you can filter down based on different criteria. You can find their contact information, email, address, phone number, and then also filter based on if they have a BD affiliation, if they're an RIA, how long they've been in business. It just helps you create a curated list for your outreach efforts that are going to involve LinkedIn messages, emails, phone calls, which I'll get to here in the subsequent steps. But you need to start somewhere with your data integrity. You don't want to be poking around on Google trying to kind of piece together a list in a spreadsheet, but you also don't want to maybe be upsold into some crazy managed marketing package that helps you target all of these advisors in the community either. So I'd recommend starting with a data subscription on Discovery Data or Advisor Pro, and then you can kind of work your way up from there if you feel like any of their offers are compelling, but this will give you a clean list of prospects to reach out to. Step number 4, now that you have your pitch deck, your video, and a list of prospects, you're going to send cold emails to the list of advisors that are in your region, local area, or national, depending on the scope of your search. So you can do this in a variety of different ways, but I would recommend sending them using a software app called Woodpecker. It's woodpecker.co, and it basically hooks into your email server and it sends it like it's actually coming from Outlook or Gmail. It's not something like MailChimp or Constant Contact that sends this whole like opt-out message at the bottom, so it feels less spammy. That being said, you don't want to spam your list. You want to be mindful of the number of emails that you're sending. I'd recommend a maximum of 3. And I've also, to make this easier on you, have included a template that you can follow where you can put your video link into the body of the email. I've already pre-written all of the copy that you can use for outreach. So just go ahead and check that out in the description. Takes all the guesswork out of it for you. Don't even need to write your own emails. Step number 5, using LinkedIn to reach out to your new prospective sellers. So up to this point, you've built your pitch deck, you've got your video, you've sent some emails, and now you're looking to expand the platforms that you can reach out to these prospective sellers on. LinkedIn is a good platform to do that. There's a lot of ways that you can reach out on LinkedIn. You can do it manually, you can do it using automated software. A lot of that's just going to depend on your budget and the level of complexity and also the size of your search. If you are only focused on a 10-mile radius of your office, you probably don't need to spend money on LinkedIn Sales Navigator and sign up for all these expensive tech packages. You can just use the data that you got from Advisor Pro or Discovery Data, type the name of the firm or the principal's name in LinkedIn, and then just manually add them as a connection and send them your videos. So I would say that a lot of it's just going to depend on how much scale you need in your outreach processes. But if you do decide to go the automated route, there's a few tools that can help you. The first is a LinkedIn automation program. The one that I was using before is called Expandy. It's just expandy.io. And there's another one called Hyperize. They both do very similar things. They essentially hook into LinkedIn's backend, and then they automatically send out connection requests and follow-up messages on your behalf. Generally for these programs, you're gonna need to sign up for LinkedIn's premium feature, which is usually between $60 and $100 a month. In addition to the software costs of Expandy and Hyperize, you're probably gonna spend anywhere from $120 to $150 a month to do automated LinkedIn outreach. However, if you're going regional or you're going national, this can really help you connect with more qualified sellers, help get your videos and your content in front of them more systematically, and save you some time, right? Because if you're typing names, manually into LinkedIn, that's going to burn up a lot of your energy and time during the day. So a lot of this is, again, going to depend on the scope of your search. If it's local, I'd say just type the names in. If it's regional or national, use one of these programs to do the heavy lifting on your outreach. One word of caution: do not spam your new connections. What I would recommend is just a very simple connection request message, and then their second message is a link to your Loom video where you're explaining a little bit more about your firm and who you are and what you're looking for, and then maybe one final message to remind them or ask them if they had a chance to watch the video. But other than that, you don't want to be sending constant updates and spamming your network, because LinkedIn could potentially ban you for the activities that you're taking on the platform. You want to make sure that you're not doing this. Step 6, and everyone's favorite, cold calls. You got to pick up the phone, hammer it. Now, you really only want to do this after you've sent your emails, you've sent the LinkedIn messages and they haven't responded. Then you can pick up the phone and give them a call and see if they'd be open to just learning a little bit more about all of the things that you had sent them up to this point. But at least if you're going to call them at this stage, you can point back to the fact that you've took the time and the energy to reach out through other means. So it's not like you're just calling to interrupt them. Cold calling is never fun. There's a lot of gatekeepers that are just gonna, push you into the mailbox, or the inbox rather, and just, you're gonna stay there in perpetuity. But on occasion, you'll find an advisor who would pick up the phone. When I was a wholesaler at DFA, one of the things I would do for 2 hours every day is just pick up the phone and just hammer it and just call advisors and see if they'd be open to having lunch with me while I was in town. So I would say not everybody answers, but maybe 1 out of 10 I was able to get on the phone and have a good conversation with, and some of them were nicer than others, like they are today. Since you're in the community, you're an advisor, you're gonna have a much easier time kind of building that relationships. And maybe you also have some shared connections that you can leverage from LinkedIn to say, hey, it looks like we both know the same person, or just kind of break the ice. You know the drill. You've been doing business development for a while. But I would say that nothing replaces the good old-fashioned cold call, and you'll obviously have their contact information from the advisor database, or sometimes it's also listed on their LinkedIn profile. So what type of results can you expect from these strategies? Creating all this content, doing the outreach, spending money on lists. Is it really worth it? And I think the answer is it depends, right? If you actually do the work and you reach out and you get in contact with potential sellers and advisors in your community, it's just a matter of time before somebody raises their hand and says, hey, listen, I'm looking to sell my business. We've built this relationship, and let's kind of deepen our conversations and see if there's a path forward. It's generally not going to happen overnight. This is not something where you're going to reach out the next day, you're going to be under LOI and cruising towards the purchase agreement. It's going to be probably 12, 18, 24 months building relationships, maybe going to a conference together, maybe shadowing each other's processes and just learning about how their firm does business, maybe doing some joint work. Like, I've just seen all different types of situations, but usually it happens with an initial conversation. So if you can commit to the activities that are going to drive you to that initial conversation, you're already doing 99% more than every other financial advisor in the industry. And it will allow you to outcompete these aggregators because they're faceless, right? They're not going to have the same level of relationship. They're not going to have the same understanding of the local or kind of regional area. And that speaks to a seller who cares about their clients, and that's usually the type of seller that you'd want to do business with anyway. So there you have it, the 6 steps to sourcing a profitable off-market deal in the financial services industry. I hope you found that useful. If you did, please like this video, subscribe to the channel so we can continue to produce valuable content for you. I've also created a course called the M&A Co-Pilot, where I will work with you in a group setting to help you source, negotiate, and close a profitable deal within the next 12 to 18 months. If that's of interest, I've dropped a link in the description. Feel free to check it out and book a call. And as always, at Advisor Growth Experts, we help you grow, buy, and eventually sell for more. We'll see you in the next video.